Welcome to The Warehouse. Have you ever heard a sermon and thought, how in the world did he discover that? Or where did he get that idea? Every week at Cornerstone Church, two teams dig into the biblical text that'll be taught during our weekend services. We spend hours talking about the text, the context, the culture of the time, you name it. But you can't stuff all that into a 30-minute message. That's where we come in. We're going to show you the stuff in the warehouse that didn't make it to the stage. Hey, Nathan.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to start a series on worship.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're, I guess the question should be, are you physically expressive during worship? And if so, like, what is your physical expression during worship?
Yeah, so we got to divide it a little bit between like when I'm on stage versus when I'm out in the congregation. So I'll start first with like whenever I'm a participant, like in the congregation, I am like very literal whenever I think about I'm not going to put my hand extended like up as worship, which is like I consider to be praising God whenever it's something that is like talking about me.
Okay.
Whenever it's a section, it's like, Lord, move in my heart or whatever. I'm not going to do that. Those are for sections of praising God. And whenever it's like a moment of receptivity, I'm going to be two hands out. So
yeah, I do the same.
I am very literal with that kind of stuff.
Hold on. This is getting deep. Okay. Like, I was not expecting this.
Okay.
Like, so even like the difference between worship and praise. Like,
and I would say worship and praise. I'm not differentiating between worship and praise. I'm differentiating between worship
like
and praise versus like receiving. So am I offering my worship or praise, which is going to be like hands extended up, versus like, am I receiving something? Would you meet me here again? That's going to be very much like receptive posture versus offering posture. So anyway,
blessed be your name, hands up.
Yeah. To the point where like I accidentally get in my head with it. Like I'm analytical of like individual lines.
You're getting in my head right now.
Am I saying things like offering praise to Jesus, in which case hands going to be up and out? Am I asking him to do something, in which case it's going to be receptive posture?
That's complicated.
It's complicated. I don't mean to be.
So you get in your head.
That's the way
sometimes.
my brain works.
Yeah. So you're the temptation would be you get distracted because you're talking to yourself about how am I properly responding here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
On stage, I am super awkward without a guitar. And I shouldn't say that. I think I might be okay without a guitar. I've just never done it. I can count one time in my time at Cornerstone, 13 years, that I've been on stage without a guitar. And it was an Easter weekend for one song, and I felt super awkward. So
yeah, I think everybody should have a guitar.
Yeah.
You can't play, you can't play. I think everybody needs a guitar.
Anyway.
Drummer.
So then
keyboardist.
I just dance around and hop a whole lot. You guys have seen it. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, the
my
herky
feet
jerky.
don't stop moving.
That's right. So I go, I'm kind of the same. I don't think about it as much, but I'm varying degrees of carry the TV. You know, that kind of first stage of worship where your arms just, they were in your pockets, but now they're up like 90 degrees and palms lifted high, like you're carrying a TV.
No. I feel like that becomes more hold the baby.
Not me. No, not me. So mine here.
Okay.
So yeah, I
wish they could see us right now.
I don't go level. I go kind of 45 to 70 degrees. And I don't go big screen. I keep it kind of small. And then
he's got about a 32-inch TV that he's carrying right now.
Yeah, 32.
Maybe 40.
Yeah.
That's good.
Then I go schoolroom, like I'm answering a question, and especially if it's a song about the heart, I'll get the heartburn going. So I'll go schoolroom heartburn, and then when it's just full on out, I'm double schoolroom.
Yeah.
So I'm double answer questions.
Wow.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about you, Stephanie?
I really like that.
Do you like the transition?
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, I respect it.
I've patented it.
I respect it. Okay.
So if anybody else does that, I get to sue.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I am very expressive, I think, in my worship, and people would agree with that. Where I just kind of am one who always either has my hands up and as like, how the village people would, like for the Y.
So you're going wide
Yes.
What you're doing now is
No,
not.
and so, no. Okay, hold on. I do one hand because so my one arm has hallelujah on one side, so that's the arm I tend to raise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
To show it off or?
Yeah.
I don't know. I put it.
Look at me. I'm worshiping with my skin.
No. I specifically got my tattoo on this arm because this is the arm I tend to raise more.
The tattoo is
Okay.
the effect,
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
not the cause.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But that's more of a. You're
That-
more.
I don't even know.
That's
A
more.
half-
You're hailing a
half-
cab. You're more hailing a cab because
Okay.
it's
I could take that.
right. It's like 45 degrees.
Okay.
Hailing, right?
I like I wish right now I do wish we were video recorded
Yeah.
so they could see us doing these things. And then I'm also hold my baby.
Yeah. You go between Hold My Baby and Mufasa. When Mufasa. Yeah.
Do I do
You don't
that?
go. You don't go that high. But when Mufasa presents Simba, I've seen Parker go Mufasa.
Parker goes
From
to
stage.
Mufasa. Yeah.
Parker's
Parker's
Mufasa.
fun to watch,
Yeah.
to worship.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
Awesome. If you would also like to see what kind of worship signal that
This
you
is
guys
swayer.
have,
Big swear.
you can Google Tim Hawkins' handbook, Official Worship Signals, and they'll be there. It's fun.
It is fun.
Hey, we're starting a new series on worship this week, 4 weeks, talking about worship. As we've been doing lately, Nathan, you've kind of been introing
Yeah.
this new
Oh,
series.
yeah.
What do you have? We
So,
kind of got it sprung on us, but you've been in the know for a bit.
yeah, I've been withholding vital information from you. Is that what you're saying?
Is that how that sounded? That's
what it sounded like. Yeah. You
It
gotta
makes
know.
it sound like he's been holding on to this top secret information for months.
So spill it.
Yeah. So worship is like, whenever we talk about spiritual disciplines are like, disciplines can get a bad rap, but spiritual disciplines are like a way that we connect with God. They're a way that we experience more of his grace. It's not ways that we earn his grace. The grace is given to us simply because of the person and work of Jesus, because of God being rich in love and kindness toward us. That's why we receive grace. But then the ways that we like tap into that and experience it, transforming our lives and the way we enjoy it, are called the spiritual disciplines. And so at Cornerstone, we've identified like 9 that fit into 3 categories: the up disciplines that are how we relate to God, the out disciplines that are how we relate to one another, and the inward disciplines that are how we relate to ourselves. And one way that I encountered recently of thinking about spiritual disciplines was it's like, the story of Zacchaeus putting himself, like he decided, I want to go see Jesus. And so he goes out and puts himself in the way where Jesus is going to run into him. And he had a life transforming experience. Spiritual disciplines are kind of like that.
So climbing the sycamore tree.
It's kind of like climbing the sycamore tree. It's kind of like, I'm going to do the work and I'm going to get out there and go put myself in the way of Jesus. Or like the blind, I think his name was Bartimaeus, that like puts himself in the path where Jesus is going to walk. That's kind of what we're doing when we're practicing spiritual disciplines.
That's so good. Woman with the issue of blood.
Yep.
So her faith was the thing that healed her, but not the discipline itself. It was the power that came from Jesus.
Yeah.
So she plugged into Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good.
So
That's one of the things J.D. Greer said. Spiritual disciplines are like wires that connect us to the power of the gospel. So there's no power in and of themselves,
Right.
but it's how we get connected to the power supply.
And so again, if you were just practicing the disciplines without relationship with Jesus, I mean, you might externally look like you're doing good things, but it's not going to transform you.
Yeah.
These are not the transforming power themselves, but they do position us to be in the path that Jesus is walking. They do connect us to that power source through those wires. And so historically, throughout like Christian history, there have been spiritual disciplines that Christians have practiced. And we've kind of like taken the bigger lists of, I don't remember, 25, 30 of them that we encountered total. Different groups had different sets of disciplines, and we've boiled them down to like where they fit into 9 categories.
Love that.
For us.
3
Up.
column, 3
Yeah.
regions
Yeah.
with 9 categories.
Yep. You got it. So we'd say that like our spiritual disciplines are in 3 directions, 9 practices.
Ooh, that's good.
Yep. And so worship is the first one. And it's like one of the most fundamental, foundational things because we all are born as worshipers. We come out of the womb like setting our heart on things, and throughout our lives we end up always giving our time to whatever we think is most worth our time. We give our affections and our money to the things that we think are most worthy of them, and so that's worship. And so worship is like very foundational to who we are as Christians, as humans even.
Yeah.
That's why we start there.
That's so good. That's a few of us are doing a book study on
Instruments in the Redeemer's Hands.
that book, Instruments in the Redeemer's Hand, during lunch on Thursdays. And one of the things that today, chapter 3 of the book, really hit home is that our dependency on God came before the fall. Like we were created to depend on God, created to worship him. And so our need is there even before sin entered the world, which that just really spoke to me today, because, how often do we see dependence, the need to worship something as a weakness or a flaw?
Right.
And whereas we're worshiping something 24 hours a day, and the trick is finding out what you're worshiping and then make that thing God.
Yep.
I think we can have this idea of like, before the fall, we were totally self-sufficient, didn't need anything. Then after the fall, because of sin, now we need God to rescue us. And then one day we'll return, whenever we get to heaven, it's like a renewed Eden and stuff, and we'll no longer like be needy. It's like, no, we were built as needing to be reliant upon God.
Yeah. And we'll dig in after. But one of the major things that I got from that chapter was the fact that if we try to be self-sufficient, we are making ourselves subhuman, because trees don't have that utter dependence. Trees grow. God set them in motion that they grow, but we are utterly dependent on the thing we're worshiping.
That's good.
Man, that hit.
Yeah.
So we're going to start week 1 here with a doozy. 1 Chronicles chapter 16.
Oh yeah.
Few weeks back, I misspoke and made it sound like we were going to be in 20 chapters. But today, just one entire chapter. So I think when we get there, what we'll do is just do the sections, and then whatever hits us read that verse. And so we're not just reading the whole thing.
Yeah, sounds good.
So what was your big idea, Stephanie?
We are to express praise and gratitude to God for all of his wondrous works and his glorious character.
Love it.
I said minds focused on him, hearts seeking after him, voices rising to him.
That's good.
Yeah, mine was David led the way in seeking the face of the Lord.
So 1 Chronicles, back in the Old Testament, and it's one of those things that if there is a book that you may have skipped sections of and maybe chapters of and maybe an entire book, it could be the Chronicles, because the way evangelical Christian Bibles, not even evangelical, the way Christian Bibles have them, by and large, the Chronicles are right after the Kings. Whereas in the Hebrew Bible, the Chronicles are at the end of, so our Old Testament. If ours was structured like the Hebrew Bible, Chronicles would be at the end of our Old Testaments. So that give a summary of everything that's happened thus far.
Yep.
What other context do we have?
So
get back in it and read it, was what I meant to say on the tag. Get back in there. It's a good one.
Yeah, so some of the differences between like Chronicles, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, and Kings and Samuel, thank you, is Chronicles leaves out like the negative things that David did, and it focuses more on the positive things that he did, and which is supposed to be a representation of the new king, the new Davidic king, which is the Messiah. And so trying to set him forth in that picture for the Jewish audience of that time. And there was no division between 1st and 2nd Chronicles. That's like not original. It's because it was only divided later due to the scroll length. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I like that they call the author of 1st and 2nd Chronicles the chronicler.
Yeah.
Because people used to think, and most still think it was Ezra, but evidence now more likely shows that it was a couple hundred years after Ezra, looking back on the time after the exile.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say there's like different timestamps for this, but they fit within the same timing. So like nowhere in the text does it directly say who wrote it, and it doesn't identify it. But there is like strong sense of knowing like whoever wrote it, he had to have had like scribal training and access to temple records. And so like the big gap I have is like 539 to 332 BC. So during like the Persian period is what I found.
Yeah.
Did you have a year, Stan? Did you have years?
So I have there's a hypothesis that I like about the way Chronicles relates to the other telling of the story that would make a particular date of like between 350 and 400, or 400 to 350,
right.
because it's BC. And that particular theory, if you want to like nerd out on some hypothesis, there's a hypothesis called Deuteronomistic history that would say that Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Samuel, and Kings were written by like the same person or compiled by the same person with a particular intent, that they were compiled during exile. So after Israel's already been carried off to Babylon, the temple's been destroyed, and the Deuteronomistic history theory would have it that the reason that those books were written was to show that the reason they were in exile was because they failed to keep the covenant laid out in Deuteronomy. And there's some interesting reasons for that. Like some of the patterns that are laid out in Deuteronomy carry through Joshua and Judges and Samuel and Kings. And there's a real focus on like the way that they break the particular pieces of the covenant and the way the kings are not who they were supposed to be and everything. That from that perspective, the Deuteronomistic historian.
Say that again.
Deuteronomistic historian.
Yes.
Would have been writing specifically to the people of Israel and Judah, like spread out throughout, like so dispersed in the Babylonian exile, to help them understand like why God allowed them to be taken out. And for it to be corrective so that if and when he allows them to return, that they don't repeat those same mistakes. Whereas the chronicler takes an approach of, so the Chronicles being written after the return from exile, helping them understand like, okay, so they're now Second Temple period. The temple's been reconstructed, Zerubbabel's temple. And then, so now it's like, so what's it mean to be God's people now? And we're no longer like the 12 tribes that we were. And there's like, we're now mixed among, and we've lost a lot of sense of our identity, but what's it look like to return?
Yeah. And God's not in the temple now.
Right.
Yeah. He didn't return.
Yeah. So what are God's plans for us now? Are we still his people or not? Yeah. And then creating that anticipation for the coming Messiah.
Yeah, the Bible Project's introduction to First Chronicles said that the Chronicles are stories about the past that provide hope for the future, hope for the coming Messiah, hope for a new temple. It has 9 chapters worth of genealogies, which is another reason a lot of people may have skipped over First Chronicles. And it summarizes the entire Old Testament, and they highlight 2 key lineages. So the Messiah's line from Judah to David, and then from David into the author's day, and the other is the priestly line from Aaron, pointing to the fact that the king would be a priest.
So some immediate context is the ark has now been brought back into Jerusalem after many years since the ark was lost in battle.
What's the ark?
So the Ark of the Covenant.
It's a big boat.
No.
Oh.
So it's the Ark of the Covenant that was created or God gave Moses and the people at that time in Exodus, I think 29, where he gives them great detail on how he's supposed to construct the ark.
Jake's playing the long joke. He's referencing Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
In case you didn't know.
I'm kind of getting it.
You want to start that over?
Nope. Do you even know what I said?
No.
Listeners do.
Okay, good. Parker, if you could mute his mic whenever he was just doing all that would be great too.
Except now
Or-
we're going to sound like fools because they won't have a reference.
Yeah.
What for? Why we stop?
Just them bringing in, telling me to shut it.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing.
That works.
Okay, so what else?
Yeah, start that section over.
I can't even... Ark, your turn.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Yeah, it houses 10 Commandments, houses some spiritually significant pieces. Like there's a jar of manna in there, right? There's Aaron's staff.
Yeah.
And the biggest deal about it was like where the presence of the Lord like was most manifest on earth. They would consider it to be kind of his throne on earth. So not his heavenly throne, but his where he resides on earth.
Yeah.
And so in the tabernacle, it lived in the Holy of Holies, like the most holy place, the place that like you couldn't walk into
without a bell on your foot.
Yep. Because
your leg.
Yep. Because if you got dead, if you had sin, you'd get dead, and then you'd have to get dragged out.
Yeah.
And a rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A rope around your ankle, a bell, so that they could know if you died. Anyway, presence of the Lord, in very condensed. There's a way that I'm trying to say that, but I can't think of it.
Yeah.
So concentrated, very concentrated form.
Yeah. Spielberg did a really good job of recreating it, because we were looking today in Communicators at a picture of the Ark from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it looked very similar to recreations models of in other places.
Yeah. Huh. He also nailed the history on the fact that like the presence of God would have melted the face off some Nazis.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So if you're a Nazi out there, do not touch or look at the Ark.
I'm very confused.
You don't have you seen Raiders of the Lost Ark?
No.
Okay. Well then go watch it. Come back, finish this podcast whenever you have.
That's right. And you guys pause it until she watches it.
Okay. And then so up to this point, so David and his group were bringing it back. And so one of his friends touched the ark because it was falling, right?
Uzzah.
You say Uzzah.
I like the sound of Uzzah more than Uzzah.
Sweet.
Okay. And so he died instantly whenever that happened.
Yeah.
And so Obed-Edom took it into his house where it blessed him. Huh?
In Kiriath Jearim.
Oh.
Right?
Obed-Edom of Kiriath Jearim.
Yeah.
It's got a ring to it.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so where it blessed his home for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever David was bringing it back, he made sure like they sacrificed, was it like every 15 feet? I'm doing this from
memory.
Yeah, I'm doing this.
I don't remember.
A certain number of steps, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then
10
they would
steps or so.
kill a bull and keep going because he was like, hey, we're not doing that again. Like he was distraught over it. So remember, guys, like that's me trying to do it from memory.
You're doing great.
Nailed it.
You're doing great. And so, I mean, whenever they were transporting it, they were not transporting it properly. So it was not supposed to be on a cart. It was supposed to be carried by like 4 men with poles going through the rings, right? And so it shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place where it could have tumped over, where Uzzah would touch it. And so like David, it sounded like I was going to say like Jesus. So David is like rightly fearful and like wanting to make sure that they do it right whenever they do bring it back in. And it also like, there seems to be some evidence that it was basically just like laid to the side. Like nobody cared about it during Saul's reign. So it just kind of like disappeared into obscurity. You don't hear about it hardly at all during his reign.
Who was it that said yesterday it would be like the president making it his first like
given an executive order.
Yeah, like this is what I'm going to do while I'm reigning. I am bringing it back where it belongs.
And so I think it's just neat because we see David described as a man after God's own heart. We see him writing so many psalms about like worshiping and praising God. And even though he messes up big, murder, adultery, that kind of stuff, we do see that he values the presence of God. So that's why he makes it one of his first orders as king is to get it back in its rightful spot.
Awesome.
So whenever it finally gets back in its rightful spot, that's whenever we see and hear of like, so I know a lot of you know that I didn't know I wasn't raised in church. So I've heard of David dancing. So this is where it comes from.
Yeah, right before this. Yeah.
Is
In
First Chronicles 15 and then 2 Samuel 6, right?
2 Samuel 6. That's the longer story. 2 Samuel 6, where he is undignified and he tells his wife that I'll be even more undignified than this.
And you're pulling out a Crowder reference?
No, that's one of my favorites. I'll be more undignified.
I'll become even more undignified than this.
I love it.
Okay. That's all I have for context.
Yeah. Any more context for you? All right.
I don't think so.
All right. How do you pronounce the guy who touched the ark, Stephanie?
Uzzah?
You said Uzzah. I said Uzzah. You said Uzzah. What about the most famous hazelnut spread?
Yeah. Nutella.
Nutella.
I thought you said new.
No, Nutella.
Nutella. I think I go like
Nuh?
wood. Nuh.
Oh, that's
not
even an
ooh.
in-between.
Yeah, I go
Not,
in between. Nutella.
Not ooh, but
Yeah, like a roof. Or
You should see their mouths when they're saying this. They're doing something weird.
Listener, send us a voice note telling us how you pronounce both Uzzah or Uzzah and Nutella.
I could go either way with
Nutella.
Uzzah or Uzzah. I could go either way.
So send us a voice memo.
I don't
Let's
know.
dive in.
Okay.
First Chronicles 16.
Uzzah.
You go Uzzah?
How do you
Or that's
say
what
it,
Hebrew
Parker?
says. Nutella?
Uzzah? Uzzah?
Uzzah.
Uzzah.
Uzzah. Okay.
Hey, First Chronicles 16. What do you guys have for the first 3 verses of First Chronicles 16?
So basically he's he's orchestrating a worship service. David is getting that, like, he's putting people in place and he's giving them jobs and duties on what they need to do. But the first section, sorry, I jumped ahead, but he is feeding them. And the burnt offerings you can see in Leviticus 1 and the peace offerings you can see in Leviticus 3 if you're wanting to see more of what that looks like.
Yeah.
Very cool. So David is the composer of this. So he's the John Williams of this chapter.
And so, I mean, he obviously makes a big deal about this. So he brings the ark back, he makes a tent for it, and then makes the offerings, and he makes it a day of celebration for all Israel. So we see distributed to all Israel, both men and women, to each a loaf of bread, a portion of meat, and a cake of raisins. So main course and a dessert, right?
Ooh, yeah.
And so he's just like making it a feast day. Like, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
We're going to shut down the nation. We're going to have a party because the presence of the Lord is returned.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Awesome.
pretty amazing.
Versus, I mean, where's that ark thing? You know, it's kind of faded into obscurity. Yeah.
Man, that's cool. So the tent that he pitched for it is the same word as the tent of meeting that Moses had made. And it very cool. So I think Morgan found it that when the ark was away, like when the army, it would go in front of the army. And when it was away, it was called the tent of meeting. But when it was there, when the ark was in the tent, it was called the tabernacle because I'm totally blanking on what what tabernacle was the word derived from. Dwelling. Yeah. So the ark with God dwelling in the tent, it was called a tabernacle. I didn't know that. That was awesome. What else? Anything else? 1 through 3? Oh, it was interesting to me that so this tent that David had pitched, it's talked about in Amos 9 and Isaiah 16 in prophecies about what the Messiah will do when his kingdom is established. So Amos 9:11, in that day I will raise up the booth of David, or the tent of David that is fallen, and repair its breaches, and raise up its ruins, and rebuild it as in the days of old. And then Isaiah 16:5, then a throne will be established in steadfast love, and on it will sit in faithfulness in the tent of David, one who judges and seeks justice and is swift to do righteousness. And it really struck me that those two references are to the tent of David and not the temple of Solomon. As great and ornate and beautiful as that temple was, it's so interesting to me that it comes back to where David redid the tabernacle that Moses had the people build. It's just really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's interesting. And so Chronicles is written after Amos. So even in the language that they use, Amos would have been written after the Temple of Solomon had been destroyed already. So even as far as like I'm just like putting it, it's just interesting to think about, like, because you have, when did the events occur?
Yeah.
Like, what's the original referent? And then like, yeah. And then when were they recorded? It's just interesting to process.
Yeah. But the idea, the tent of David and not the temple. Yeah.
Good.
Which, I mean, Chronicles, so in a post-exile world, like there's not a lot of focus on Solomon in Chronicles. There's a lot more focus on David. And I think there could be some reason for that, even behind the fact that like they recognize that though Solomon built the temple, he did lead the nation astray. And he was he led to his sons, splintering the kingdom and stuff. And so if you think of the Deuteronomistic history as proposing that like the wickedness of the kings is part of what led them into exile, then it might make sense even that they'd go back to David, the one who had a heart after God's own, or who is a man after God's own heart, rather than going back to Solomon's temple, but Solomon like ended up with 700 wives and 300 concubines or something like that.
Yeah.
And like introducing idolatry into their environment.
Yeah. Very cool. Anything else? 1 through 3?
Nope.
Well, how about 4 through 7? You guys have anything cool for 4 through 7? Appointing some of the Levites as ministers. Going back again to what Moses was commanded to do. To invoke, to thank, and to praise the Lord, the God of Israel.
Did you dive into those words in particular?
I did not.
Okay.
Michael did. And Michael said that to invoke is to appeal, to thank is acknowledging, and to praise is admiring.
I thought Morgan did that yesterday.
Oh, did he? I did.
He mentioned those words in his big idea.
Okay.
But I don't know that I'm trying to remember whether he like went into the specifics of what they meant. He definitely mentioned the words though.
Yeah. It's cool doing that to get some synonyms so that we can, other options so we can grab a little bit better, because invoke, not many of us use invoke
Right.
In our normal language. But yeah, to appeal, man, and isn't that, that's kind of what you're talking about in your body language during worship.
Yeah.
There are different songs for the heart, different things that you act upon, different parts of worship. It's not just us singing and watching, and it's us invoking and thanking and praising and not having our hands in our pockets the whole time.
Yeah, I really like this section, verses 4 through 7, because like it's showing that there was like instruments and there was noise to be made to give God glory. And it wasn't just, I don't know, like, I don't even know the words how to put it. Like there's cymbals, there's trumpets, there's harps and lyres. Like it's not just some like very quiet thing that people are trying to do, but he's like, make a joyful noise before the Lord. So and that's not this part, but yeah.
Anytime there is somebody playing music and a percussionist is anywhere around, that percussionist is going to percussion on whatever he can find. Drums aren't mentioned here, but it just hit me. There are some people out there that were doing some percussion on whatever they could find, right?
I mean, cymbals are mentioned. So,
yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Not
yeah. Why didn't I think of them as percussion? They're fancier.
They're fancier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, right? You got to imagine that somebody's out there and they're a drummer and they're just finding a beat on something.
Percussionist gonna percuss.
That's right.
And so another part that I like made me think is blowing a trumpet is going to be super loud, and so is cymbals. So I'm like, I don't know if I would enjoy all of this noise.
It could be very loud.
Yeah, just being honest.
Yeah, what part of town was this in? Because the worth of the like rents went way down, property values way down.
Yeah.
Or like what happened at Obed-Edom's house. The ark was
blessing.
there and they got blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd take that trade.
Yeah.
Oh, anything else? That section?
Well, I mean, so sorry, that kind of ties into what you just said, but verse 43 at the very end, then all people departed each to his house, and David went home to bless his household. So like just the blessing that they were taking from this and taking it on to their family.
Ooh.
Nice.
So they left the public worship gathering and took it home and continued.
Not the ark, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. It did not make a tour like the Stanley Cup.
Okay, so from a just a worship standpoint, taking a second, like we see here, immense value placed on the presence of the Lord, like enough to stop everything and have a feast day because the presence of the Lord is significant. We see specific people appointed, like to be in charge of it. So it's not just a group effort. You have like Asaph and Zechariah and like a whole list of names of people who are like skilled musicians.
Yeah.
And you see other places in scripture. So it doesn't say here specifically that they were skilled musicians, but other places it says like to play skillfully before the Lord. You see places that it says that the Holy Spirit specifically gifted them to play these instruments.
Yeah.
And so we see like that there's a professional component to it, like people who are doing this and gifted for it and like specifically have this. And then also at the end of this whole section, we have the then all the people said amen and praise the Lord. And so there's a corporate, like everybody's invited into it. So it's not a spectator sport.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's also not just purely, ad hoc, like collaborative.
I like that. Yeah. Asaph and the boys were called to be the lead worshipers.
Yeah.
Because of their skill, because of the gift that they'd been given.
Yeah.
I can't find the note, but I was like, I think, didn't he get appointed for this specific time, Asaph, because he appointed somebody else earlier within First Chronicles?
Maybe.
So yeah, it's not relevant. But I just thought it was neat.
Well,
I'm ready to move on.
And then he goes on and gives specific words for this day of like immense celebration and consecration.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just want to go
the whole thing.
18 through
8.
So 8.
What did I say? 8? Yeah, 8 through
36.
all the way through 36.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it seems to be like this have been the first psalm given for the use of a tabernacle service. But we do see, like in the book of Psalms, its first movement, so verses 8 through 22, is in Psalm 105, 1 through 15. And its second movement, so 23 through 33, is in Psalm 96. And it's Psalm 96, 1 through 13. And its third movement, verses 34 through 36, consists of quotation of the opening and closing sentence of Psalm 106, 1 through 47, and verse 48.
So Psalm 105, then to Psalm 96, and then to Psalm 106.
Yeah, which we got to have a great discussion, like which one came first? Was it the Psalms?
chicken.
Or was it this?
Right.
Where'd you land? Or have you?
I didn't land anywhere. I don't know if there's enough. Contextual evidence one way or the other.
Yeah.
I tend to think that like he's probably written the Psalms before this, and then he puts them together into this as kind of a compilation or a medley of works that he's already written previously.
Oh, I love that idea that it's a medley.
Yeah.
That's good.
But it's interesting. It's also interesting that there, like, what's left out of the other.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys saw this at all, but there's no mention of like the deliverance from Egypt in this, which historically, like in a lot of other places in Psalms, it's like a big deal.
Yeah.
It's one of those earmark like milestones for Israel, like remember God's deliverance. And I saw some speculation that like maybe it was intentionally left out here in Chronicles because it didn't want to leave them with an expectation that like God was going to do that same thing again and deliver them from the powers that be.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The Red Sea wasn't getting parted again.
So I don't know. I tend to think that maybe he wrote the Psalms separately, did them as a medley here. But I'm okay with it being either way.
Yeah.
Very
It could
cool.
also be that he did this and then they broke it up and separated into Psalms later.
Expounded.
Yeah.
Maybe went
Yeah.
deeper. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
good.
call. In verse 8, you see thanksgiving.
Mhm.
You see supplication of people calling on his name. You see testimony in it. So there's that multi-directional thing that we have that's part of worship, upward and vertical and horizontal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, horizontal because it's a call for like the community of God's people to join in praise to their God. Like it's not just something being done with just David himself, which is great too, but also this is expounded on a way of horizontally going.
Yeah.
Yeah. At risk of being a little bit like maybe a little bit harsh, I think it's really interesting to see in here how much of this is imperatives.
Yeah.
So it's just give thanks, sing, glory in, seek, remember. And all of that is grounded not in like, hey, if you feel like it, or if you have a good voice, or if you like music, all of it is grounded in because God's worthy.
Yeah.
And so like, again, at the risk of being like a little bit harsh, I would say if you're not a singer, and so you just kind of like sit there on a Sunday morning, I would say like, the Bible has some like imperatives for you about like whether you like it or not, whether you're feeling it or not. I think God's word encourages you to specifically sing and give thanks. Anyway,
That's good. I grew up in the United Methodist Church, and in the front of every United Methodist hymnal were John Wesley's rules for singing for everyone in the congregation. And some of my favorites were sing all, everybody. So everybody sing lustily and with good courage. So sing out.
Yeah.
And that part, he said, sing as passionately as you did when you were singing the songs of Satan. And that was, so those two were two of my favorites, is everybody sing and sing.
Yeah.
It don't just, my mom couldn't carry a note in a bucket, but, and she tended to lip sync. And so she would be there every song and she wouldn't make a peep, lip sync the whole thing. And Wesley, it sounds like, taking from David, saying, no, sing.
Yeah. Yeah. So in verse 9, when it says, tell of all of his wondrous works, so we should be talking more about what he is doing and talking less about what we're doing. I really liked that. And then in verse 12, where it says, remember, we're to remember God's miracles and his promises of the land and protection of Abraham and Israel. So he really gets into that about like remembering his covenant in verse 15. So remember his covenant forever. Like God never wanted his people to forget the covenant that he made with them. And so we see the covenant that he made with Abraham and with Israel as a nation, and a covenant with David regarding like the specific lineage that he was going to use. And then now as us on this side, we get to see the covenant that Jesus made with us.
Yeah. That's
So
exactly
good.
what I was thinking. That's awesome.
And how important that is in worship.
Yeah.
Remembering what Jesus has done.
Absolutely. And I think we get lost in that sometimes because we get so focused on ourselves and the things that we're going through.
Yeah, our situations. Yeah.
Which is, so.
Yeah, easy. Verse 10, glory in his holy name. Let the hearts of those who seek the Lord rejoice. And I just loved, so the idea of glory as a verb there, it's an idea to shine. So shine in his holy name. Let the hearts of those who seek the Lord rejoice. And the rejoice is, part of that is to be brightened, to brighten up. So you shine in his name, and as you do that, your heart will be brightened. I just loved that picture there. That is just, especially when you go in darkened by the week, and man, something hits, and you're able to shine again, and your heart is brightened.
Yeah. So verse 11, seek the Lord in his strength, seek his presence continually. So this word presence, like, is maybe more accurately translated as face, which I think is like just huge, because I think whenever I think presence, I just think like, I mean, there's oxygen present in this room or whatever. I'm not really aware of it, but it is present here.
Yeah.
versus face. Like if I'm looking at your face, I see you and like your emotions and your like what you're thinking in this moment. And it's like, it's a relational word versus just like a spatial word.
Yeah. There's a difference between presence and being present even. Because you can be in the same, even now you can be in the same room and yet all 5 of us are in the room and we're all on our phone looking at something else and we're not present and we're not seeking each other's face. Yeah. Man, that's a great point.
Versus you look up, make eye contact, and there's like a real connection to someone through their face.
Yeah.
And so I just really like that picture of seek the Lord in his strength, seek his face continually. Like that's what we want to experience in worship is we want to experience the face of God with us. Like anyway.
Yeah. And the seek, so English, it's 2 seeks, but it's 2 different words. And that second seek, it's like a more active, a more, like that's to strive after, right? The first one is, it is to seek, to frequent, to follow. But that second one, it's got a little bit more oomph. Yeah. And man, you talking about his face, like, man, how passionately that sounds when you're thinking, man, seek his face. Because Moses asked him to see his face, and he said, you can't do that. You're going to die. And here David is saying, no, seek his face. Chase after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I just made that connection.
Whoa.
Holy cow. Yeah. Man.
So I really like verse 26. That's another standout one for me. So for all the gods of the people are worthless idols, but the Lord made the heavens. And so he's contrasting just like the worthlessness, powerlessness of everything else that they're worshiping. As we talked earlier about like how we are like constantly worshiping something. Like part of what worship involves is acknowledging how worthless and powerless these other things are that we've had our heart set on all week. I'm just like, that turn your eyes upon Jesus and look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. Like that is a major component to our worship on the weekend. It's like, it's a both. They feed each other. The more we look at Jesus, the more we recognize how worthless the things that we've been worshiping are. The more we recognize how worthless those things are, the more valuable Jesus seems to us. And so,
man, so if I bristle at you saying that I worship something else in my life, and I say, now hold on, I worship God, but there are things in my life that distract me. Well, what do you say to me in that moment?
I would say that like, there's always something on the throne of our hearts. There's always something that's like direct, we're making decisions around it. We're like giving it priority. And so it's not like that to worship God, your full attention is going to be focused on him at every moment. It's like I do tasks throughout my day, even as a pastor, that's like my full attention is not on God at that moment. But if for me, like one of the things that quickly steps into that is into like onto the throne of my heart that I would say is like a wrong worship thing is like the idea of approval. And so whenever I'm doing tasks, I can be doing them because I genuinely like love God and want everything to be pleasing to him. Or I can be doing it so that people think I'm amazing and very, on top of it and getting things done and so I would say like from a worship perspective, we have to ask ourselves like, what's really central? What's the guiding authority in our life, the guiding priority? I don't know. That's how I think about it.
Yeah. And those things that are distracting you from worship, they're trying to get onto that throne.
Yeah.
They're trying to be the thing that you worship.
Yeah.
It's good.
Verse 23, sing to the Lord, all the earth.
Yeah.
Tell of his salvation from day to day. Here's another example. We've mentioned it a couple times over the last few weeks about how even in the Old Testament, God's eyes were on Israel being a blessing for the earth, for all the nations. And feels like it's looking forward to the day when finally we all worship the King from every race, tongue, nation, tribe, and tongue.
Yeah, and also the importance of like telling people about his salvation. Like it's important for us to not just sit quiet in that. Like we are to proclaim the good news. And so I think it's good.
Yeah, for 24, declaring his glory. It's this idea of counting and recounting. And man, how much do I need to do that? Not just to count that one time God came to my rescue, but recount it and remind myself over and over of what he's done, his marvelous works.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about ascribing. Mm-hmm. So you guys put it in a better way than I think I did, like trying to describe, like, so what does ascribing mean for us, like today? Yeah,
not many English speakers use ascribe anymore. But it's the idea of, in the Hebrew, it's to give, to put. The English definition of, what's the word? Ascribe. I was trying to say aspire. Those are two different definitions. Yes. Of ascribe is to attribute something to. So to assign.
It's kind of like to give credit.
To a credit. Yeah, exactly. So you're putting on the Lord glory and strength. Not that he doesn't have it already.
Right.
But you are, God knows how awesome he is, how great he is. But us making that choice to tell him how great he is.
Right, because we can tend to overlook it, right? Like we can tend to forget how powerful and how amazing he is.
Yeah.
It's like an example or a related thing to me would be like, where do I think my security comes from? So it's like I can ascribe security to my career or to my bank account or whatever, or I can ascribe security to God. Yeah. Right? It's similar, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
In verse 31, it's like it's switching its focus, like so that even creation itself praises God. So we see that we praise God, we give him glory. And then this, it seems like in verse 31, it's kind of switching to like how even creation gives him praise and glory.
I remember hearing a Tim Keller sermon back in the day. We were at the old building, the Bainbridge building. And I remember where I was at. I was like working late on a sound system or something like that, listening to this. And he was talking about, and I'd never thought about this, that like humans are the only part of creation that don't do what we were designed to do.
Whoa.
Like a donkey, being a donkey is worshiping God by being a donkey.
Oh man.
Like we're the only part of creation that doesn't.
Yeah. Designed to be dependent on God. And boy, we don't want to be dependent on God.
Yeah.
Shoo.
Man, that's big.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home now.
Talk to your donkey.
That's right. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His steadfast love endures forever. Verse 34. And then, so verse 35 is the only place in this text where he tells the people to ask God for something. So verse 35 say also, save us, O God of our salvation. Gather and deliver us from among the nations, that we may give thanks to your holy name and glory in your praise.
Yeah. So the word save us there is Hosanna, which later becomes significant as taken up by the crowds that we see in Mark 11, 9 through 10.
And what were those crowds doing?
Why are you looking at me?
Oh, you said it becomes significant because of the crowds. It's like,
I'm like, wait.
I'm just like, give it for someone who isn't familiar with that Bible reference.
There was a new Olive Garden opening up downtown Jerusalem.
They're saying,
and they were
Hosanna.
saying,
Hosanna, Hosanna.
Jesus is riding into town on a donkey
and
as
the
the
palm
Messiah.
branches.
They're saying Hosanna.
Yeah, that's
with
right.
the palm branches.
You're right. I was off.
You have more, I don't know, maybe you have more faith in our listeners that they can pull out the reference from their deep catalog.
We have zero faith.
I have faith in you, listener. I just also know that
don't put me in that box.
I just also know that you're probably driving and like, I'm just trying to help you.
Your brain's not working because my brain tends to do that.
If you knew when and why they were saying Hosanna, email us.
Jay really wants some crowd participation, and sometimes we get it, and you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we don't, and we're like, oh, did they listen?
Most of the time we don't.
I feel like in this podcast, we've insulted their intelligence and like made them feel like we're disappointed in their level of participation.
We are not disappointed.
We're very pleased with you, listeners.
We're thankful. Okay.
Jay's grimacing.
So in verse 36, what? Are you still talking?
Cut that, Parker.
Okay. Verse 36, when he says, then all people said amen and praised the Lord. this reminds us that David was not singing this alone, that it was sung together because all the people said amen and praised the Lord.
Amen.
We did it.
Which
Now,
amen
verse
says,
37.
let it be so, right?
May it be. What verse was it?
Let it be. Let it be.
36.
36. Let it be.
Whispering words of wisdom.
Beatles. Or is it just...
Blessed be the God of Abraham from everlasting
Yeah,
to
surely it is
everlasting.
true. A strong affirmation of what is declared, acceptance and clearly implied, sometimes doubled for emphasis.
Mm.
Yep.
Let it be
Verily,
so.
truly.
Rescue us. Save us. Let it be true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So David left Asaph and his brothers there before the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord to minister regularly before the Ark as each day required.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In chapter 25, it even named all the difference, and I think he said they were 280. You remember? Do you remember that number, Parker? Towards the end of, I think it was 280. But if you divide 280, and they broke them up into 24, and so it was 12 people per hour that were there giving.
That's cool.
Giving praise.
Which, were you the one who was talking about the...
IHOP?
Oh yeah, the International House of Prayer in Kansas City. Yeah, the first place I...
Not the International House of Pancakes.
Yeah, not pancakes.
But International House of Prayer. But they do still call it IHOP.
They got sued by IHOP, and so now they have to call it IHOP KC because they just called it IHOP for years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain what they do there.
So Rachel and I went, oh my gosh, it's been 17 years ago now. Went out there, and they have worship teams, prayer ministers who are there 24 hours a day. It's a training center. There's a church out there too. But the main focus of the place is there is always worship and prayer going on in that place. And so, like if like these guys were broken up into 24 teams, so their shift would start a half hour before the one you're replacing ends. And so the music, or 15 minutes or whatever, and they start playing with the team, and then that team gets up, and it's just this one for 45 minutes until the next. So there's always prayer, there's always worship going on in this place, and it just that idea of having a place where locally we could go, and there's just always, whether it's 2 a.m. or 2 p.m, that idea is a captivating one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder how, so Asaph and his brothers, they'd have to make up a lot.
Yeah.
For it to be a constant thing that they're doing, because only his group stays in Jerusalem.
Yeah. So in chapter 25 is where they talk about multiple 24 different teams being selected.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? 37 to 43.
Yeah, so the main reason they're doing this is in verse 41, is to give thanks to the Lord for his steadfast love, and it endures forever. So that is the content of what's pushing them forward to celebrate and give praise and thanks to God.
Yeah, I like that. These guys in verse 41 were chosen and expressly named to give thanks to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That steadfast love is a Hebrew word, hesed.
Yeah.
Which really refers to attachment and commitment to someone.
And we don't have a great word for it. So it's been called loving kindness in King James, enduring love in other versions. So it's that idea of endurance as well.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So that commitment, no matter what, I'm committed to you. I'm in covenant with you.
Yeah.
That family bond aspect of it.
Man,
good.
What a word. Anything else?
That's it for me.
That's it for me. It was a good portion, but a lot.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
But it's great.
What are you excited about, Stephanie?
Oh, man. I was pointing. I was getting ready to point to Nathan.
I said Stephanie before you pointed.
I I like the fact that we are talking about this in such detail because I think people tend to think worship is just Sunday mornings where we are singing praises and that is worship. Yeah. And yes, that is worship, but it's also dying to oneself. And so I'm excited for the next 4 weeks to just dive into like, what does this truly mean to worship the Lord?
Yeah.
And to have some challenges at the end of it.
Yeah. It seems like in the spectrum of worship being a noun and worship being a verb, we kind of lean further on the noun side. And did you attend worship? Did you get much out of worship? Rather than worship being a verb that
Something
we actively do when it's time. I think getting that balance right, in both in my life and us corporately, man, I think that's going to do amazing things.
I think, and I think like you can go in either ditch with this, like either saying that like, so definitely people think of worship as just what they do on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
You can also take it to like too far into the like, well, worship is what I do, everything is worship, which can minimize the importance of gathered worship. But I mean, we just read a whole chapter that was about gathered worship. Like, so it was all of 1 Chronicles 16.
Michael did that as well.
Really?
Today.
Okay. Yeah. It's like the Bible makes a big deal about like what we do whenever we're gathered together and as well. So I think it's like it can go in either ditch. And as a guy who like has a background in like the worship gathering, I would hate to diminish the importance of what happens whenever we gather here. Yeah. It's like I think what we do there definitely stokes the fire for us to go out and live lives of worship.
Yeah. And vice versa. Like when worship on Sunday is an overflow of your worship during the week, it's so spectacular, and then catapults you into the week to worship.
Agreed.
Which then you can overflow on Sunday, which catapults you into the next week.
I just think you can't be lacking in one, right? You need both. And
you definitely can be, but when we are,
you're not going to be healthy if you're lacking in
right.
Or the wheels are going to come off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, you need to be doing both. It's a vertical and horizontal relationship that we have, and it's important for our spiritual growth.
That's so good.
I love it.
That's so good. Well, guys, again, we want to know your official worship posture. So again, if you look for Tim Hawkins' handbook on how you worship, we want to hear about it. But also, it's broken up into different categories. And so going from, so there's a rookie level and an intermediate level and a pro level and an expert level. And I think part of our challenge, like if you've been hands in your pocket guy, to bring those hands out of your pockets and put your hands 90 degrees. And if you've been 90 degrees guy, I think it's, man, maybe you do a Mufasa and you show Simba to the world, right? And if you've been Mufasa, then maybe you join me and go schoolroom and raise one hand. And if you've been somebody that's raised one hand before, you just go all out and you go double schoolroom.
With a
like
sway.
You know the answer and you want that candy that is the reward.
Okay.
Yeah, so that can sound super dorky. But But the Bible does like talk about specific postures in worship. It does command us to like sing, and it does command us to clap and to raise our hands and to shout and to like lie prostrate before the Lord and those kinds of things. That it's important. Like our physical posture matters, and it's related to how we worship. And so seriously,
no, it's a real thing. Yeah, it's a tangible thing. Stephanie and I were praying with a woman in the church last week, and for most of the time, she was tightened up, hunched over, head, eyes to the floor. And about 3/4 of the way through, I just suggested she open her hands, that she sit straight, that she just angle her head up toward heaven, and then her body calmed down. Her knee had been fidgeting most of the day. And so we're just like, hey, do that. And so that simple posture change, it like even in the room, we felt it. It's a real thing that happens.
Yep.
So yeah,
so actually,
it can be corny sounding when I did
titles
it.
The titles can be corny, but the principle of like stretching yourself in what you do, like physically in the worship space, is like actually a very sound principle.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's really good.
Did we do it?
I think we did.
Well, all right,
Proud of
guys.
us.
Man, we are excited about this weekend. Come see us, and if you feel like shy, embarrassed about you stepping out and doing something more expressive, come stand next to one of us, and we'll take all the spotlight off of you because we'll do the next one up.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll take the heat.
We'll take the heat, and we'll see you there. But until then, the warehouse is closed.
Have a good week.